I was reading a post the other day, and it completely fitted in with my thought, an exact thought that I'd been having at exactly the same time, which was really saying, what is it that has us look for others' opinions to validate us? As in, what is it that has us make it mean more to us, other opinions of us, than our own opinion about ourselves? It was really an interesting moment for me, because my life, a lot of my life, has been so much about placing too much importance on other people's opinions, and we can take an interest in that in a healthy way, but really it's been very unhealthy for me. And in the early days, I found what happened really was that I seemed to take messages in my early days that I had to be mindful of what other people thought. So my mum wiping my face and pulling my clothes down, saying, what will they think? Probably, I don't know, meaning it just in a passing way. All of those messages I took to say that what they think is important. And actually, in terms of a lot of the things around the house and getting things tidy and whatever else, there was a lot of that air of it was important how we were seen. So that became a big underlying message for me, and it, without knowing it, so unconsciously, what it did was say that those other views and thoughts on me were much more important than my own. And obviously, if I look back now, that is a real challenge, because it had me look to mind read other people. What were they thinking about me? Because if I didn't know what they were thinking about me, I couldn't know whether what I was doing was good, bad, right, wrong, making an impact, whatever that may be. And therefore, again, I think very unconsciously, my radar was constantly looking for what they were thinking of me, or what was important to what was important to them, because what was important to them, therefore I had to be. And it was also constantly looking for validation. It was almost like, if I do this, does that make them happy? If I do this, does that make them happy? If I do this, do they like me? If I do this, do they want to spend time with me? If I do, and that was a constant thing. So a couple of times that I remember, one was, and this will have been well into my 20s, and I was out shopping with a really good friend of mine, still is a great friend of mine, and we'd known each other since we were 18. We were living in the same house, and we'd gone shopping on a Saturday. And I would always say, I've never asked her, but I would always say that she was very happy in her own skin and very confident. And so she's just doing what you would normally do, and wandering around the shop and having a look at stuff and having an opinion about it, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, whether it might suit you, whether it might not. And she was pulling things out and going, oh, I like that, oh, I like that. Now, I can specifically remember that I was holding back any thoughts, because in my mind was, if I said I didn't like it when she did like it, would she still like me? And that is a ridiculous thing now to say, but it must have been that what was going on in my head for me to hold back my thoughts. But also the second part of that is, when I look back, I realised that actually I didn't have an opinion, because I had completely lost any connection with myself, because I never asked myself. I was always asking what other people would think. So I had really lost the connection with myself, any sense of what it was that I really loved. And it was a number of years later that I went to a seminar with Anthony Robbins, and the whole environment of Anthony Robbins, all the many messages that he has over the years, has completely changed my life. But it has been a slow process for me. I'm a slow learner, but within that, I can't even remember which. I think it was maybe A Date with Destiny, but writing down your 3 goals, and I think one was living in the country. Whenever I pictured what I would want to do, was live in the country, have horses at least in the vicinity, and be out there and riding. Well, it was interesting when I wrote that down, because I was living in London, and I had been for the last years. In fact, I'd done it once for 4 years, and then I was back down again in London, and I hadn't seen a horse for I don't know how long, and I very rarely even went into the parks to see some greenery and nature, something, of nature. So it absolutely, I would say, the pain that I suffered at that time was to be disconnected from myself, to be what I would call, and other people call, living in my head, as in I was not connected to my heart or my spirit. I was operating from headspace of how should I be, what should I do, how should I show up to fit into society, what should I like, what should I not like, who should I be, and that was constantly where I was. So I was constantly in my mind. I was constantly, therefore, even if it was a secondary piece of it, looking for validation. And also, nobody had any chance of winning. I definitely didn't have a chance of winning in that situation because I wasn't being true to me. I was completely not knowing who I was, and I was not being who I was. And also, those people that I was looking for validation had no clue that that's what the situation was, and therefore they didn't know they were part of this game. So an example that I've given over the years on realizing is that if you are trying to, let's just use your boss as an example, if you're wanting to please your boss and therefore get love from your boss, that's what we're looking for, validation in the form of I think you're great, and it is a cold morning and your boss is against time, they've got to do a presentation in a meeting and they haven't got it done, and you go in with a hot drink and some breakfast for them and say, can I help you with that presentation? Oh my gosh, you are the best thing since sliced bread. I cannot believe that you thought of all of this. Thanks so much, I definitely need it. Yes please, I love you. The next day, because that you found a strategy that works, you do the same thing. You take that hot drink in and offer to support with whatever they're doing at that moment. But this day, they're not against time. It's not a cold morning. They've got their coffee or tea or whatever it is, and everything's in order. So, and they're right in the middle of just whatever they're doing. So when you go in, they hardly look up. And what you take from that is, they don't care, they don't like me, they're not interested in me, I'm not good enough, I'm not making an impression, they're not interested in engaging with me. And none of it is the truth. So I am so much for know who you are, be who you are, and there are various things that I do. There are various formulas that I found to get back to who I am, because that friend that I was shopping with, she's never needed an exercise, because she's never taken that message. She's always been true to her, so she's easily able to go round the shop, I like this, I don't like that, what do you think of this, what do you think of that, and there's no big deal. She's just shopping, for goodness sake, for stuff that she likes, that she thinks will suit her, that she enjoys. It's not a big deal. So she's never had to find any formulas, but some of us have taken messages at different ages whereby we've stopped being true to who we are. We've stopped knowing who we are. We've made other people's opinions more important than our own. So there are various formulas that I've found over the years that have got me back into that space. So if this resonates with you, let me know your story, let me know any challenges, and I'm going to make sure that I share them with you so that you can know fully who you are, reconnect to yourself, and really be all of that wonderful spirit and soul that you are, and show up in the world exactly as you want to, for you, and impact the world in a positive way.